Going on, traders? Welcome to my stream. Today is Friday, finishing up the day. Today is Friday, May 5th, 2023. Pretty interesting day. I gotta get my, curtains in the back all fixed up, so gotta excuse my amazing, a little bit dirty, environment over here, but today we had a pretty nice day. We had this ticker. So actually, the tickers today weren't that many. You know, yeah, I gotta fix that. So let me take my Halt scanner out because my Halt scanner up is going crazy. Anyway, so we had a couple of higher float stocks that were, I don't know, like Pack W, Fubo. And now we have a couple of stocks. Ticker Carvana halted and resumed. So today we had a couple tickers that are just not that interesting. Actually, Carvana looks pretty good for a short. Actually, that looks pretty good. There we go. Everybody's locking in their gains. Anyway, it's a bit choppy. I don't know how much volume that came into my microphone. So let's review. So yesterday, hopefully my microphone doesn't cut out. I have like a bunch of settings here. So let's review. So yesterday the there we go. Hold on, we're back. I don't know what's happening to my microphone. It's just coming in and out. I gotta get it. I think I'm gonna get it replaced, or I'm going to. So this morning, let's review. All right, I'm gonna edit this clip so it starts out at 4 minutes. So I'm gonna go back and read it. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. So today was pretty interesting. The overall market spiked up to like infinity, and we had a fake out breakdown, and suddenly this fake down breakdown, we kind of reclaimed that breakdown. So the overall market was really strong. That's one thing that I looked at the overall market. And the next thing I looked at, what happened yesterday. So yesterday there was a ticker that sold off all day and the market was really weak. So what I did today, I pretty much bought the strongest stock of them all that had news, decent news, higher float. But the thing about this ticker is that it had like no resistance. So I don't really know where the resistance is, for which reason I did buy it. So the ticker is NBTX. I'm gonna go talk about it after my famous video. Yeah, I'm getting like curtains in the background, so cause my curtains are not that, special. You can see like a wall back there. So constantly improving. So I'm gonna go talk about it, all about this video and more, how I made 1,500 bucks today. So this ticker is actually a little bit over this ticker is very volatile. So you can see here that, you know, we're gonna go through my overall process that I managed to make on this ticker. So this morning I woke up and obviously, as every single day, I look at the overall SPY. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, well, we kind of had this support line over here, and we kind of broke below it, and we should have continued south, but yet again we didn't continue south. So now the overall theme of the market is be bullish. And then I look at like what tickers worked yesterday. Most of them were really weak. And I looked at my pre-market scanner, and pre-market scanner was a little bit. Where is my pre-market? There it is. So I looked at my pre-market scanner. You can see here that NBTX was the most active one, top gainer. I mean, everybody's focusing on the top gainer. And this ticker, you had Bayos here, which was untradeable. I don't think Bayos was tradable over here. I don't know if you want to trade this thing, but Bayos to me was, I mean, this ticker was, first Green Day bounce was at 7. This is untradeable. I can't buy it at 7. It's way above my risk level. I don't trade this kind of mumbo jumbo. This is mumbo jumbo to me. So to me, it's not really tradable, even though that stock did move from like 10 to like 13. So this ticker had my attention, considering A, the overall market is green. B, we're going to just look at the chart because, all that information that you need, it's in the chart. So we're going to look at a really good example of why I bought this ticker. If I look at my weekly, you can see that today, we can see like crickets over here. You can look at the daily. Where are, it haven't had this amount of volume for since the beginning of time. So even though this ticker has, 30 million in float, which is a little bit on the high side, I would prefer it to be like a 2 milli float. You can see like this ticker never had, a crap load of volume going into it. So I'm like, there was one thing I know for sure is that you don't short a clean chart that never had, 16 million volume their first green day. That's one thing you should never do. And soon enough, so what you should do with this ticker? Well, as long as it's holding VWAP and is holding trend, you should buy. And number 3, the news was semi-decent, agreement to some extent. I would prefer like contract or agreement. The news wasn't that spectacular. So it had like a really good overall market green, holding trend, clean chart. The float was on the high side, like 30 million. So this is where, I get my idea to go long and go and show you exactly where I did go long. So I was watching it as I usually do. And obviously we see this pre-market push. It was aftermarket push at around right about here from 5 to like 7:35. So that was interesting to me. And then we had this downtrend break at around $4 this morning. And soon enough, we had a downtrend break and we pushed and we reclaimed VWAP. That's cool. That's cool. We reclaimed VWAP. And then we came back down and we held this trend over here. And I'm like, okay, so that's the freaking trend. The trend is right there, right there, right there. That's freaking cool and all. That's gravy. So we have a clean trend worth noticing here. That usually the buyers step in. So I'm like, all right, the market's coming to open, and soon enough, I'm like, that's my long. My long was right there. I took it long at around entry price was 445, and I said, my stop loss would be, just below this trend around 440 or 435. I was risking like 300 bucks, 3,000 shares, 300 bucks. That would be a pretty good deal. And soon enough, I mean, the market open was really, really volatile because we kind of just dipped for a fraction of a second here, like below my stop loss. So it's not completely rocket scientist. And then we had this push and then a dip and then a rip and then a dip. But, trying to understand that, in this situation, there was a lot of short sellers that pretty much came in. They're like, oh, this ticker is just going to go to the crapper. Everything's going to go to the crapper. And I don't want to buy any freaking tickers. But that doesn't mean it's not going to go up. And soon enough, we held VWAP in the second candle. We held VWAP and then boom, we had the push. This is the push. This was the pre-market break of 480, and this is where I lock in profits. I lock in profits at around, I think it was right there. That was my push area. So I buy at 444, so 495, and that was my trade. That was the great idea behind how I made 1,500 bucks today, and it was about a, I don't know, like 15-minute trade. And soon enough, I mean, we have this crazy ass volatility, and there's a humongous squeeze. I mean, this is what a squeeze is like. This is like when short sellers get squeezed out. This is what it looks like. I mean, just because it's up 100, and there was a couple of things that short sellers might want to take this short. For example, I mean, the float is 30 million. So if it gaps up 150% for a 30 million stock, for a 30 float stock, I mean, not like 6 out of 7 times is gonna sell off. But the amateur short sellers, they're like, yeah, 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 this looks like it's gonna die off. All the other ones died yesterday and the day before, but they didn't get the other two parts of the equation. The parts of the equation is that today is Friday. There's nothing moving. The overall market is green, and the trend is holding, and there's it's a clean chart. So all these indications, you know just like 6 out of 10 stocks that are up 150%, and the float is like 30 million, they usually sell off. But they forgot the part that A, it's a clean chart. B, what is that? A clean chart, that means there's no volume on the daily. B, there's, semi decent news. C, the overall market is green. And so, you have these humongous wicks and dips of freaking short sellers just being like, F it, getting stopped out in this candle. I mean, think about it. If you're short into the 450s or 470s, let me just short the pre-market resistance over here. And for the first time, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna put in their sell order over here, and it works. And then you got here, and then say you're maxed out like 6 to 1 over here. I mean, you're just gonna get annihilated in the secondary candle, and that's actually the candle that I should have taken my profits out at 540 to make a 20% break, 20% trend. And soon enough, after that, it just became like just wiki, whippy, wiki price action. I mean, it's definitely, it's, you have to understand that this is a very, 30 milli float is a little bit higher. I would have to say 30 milli float is on the high side, so it's very overcrowded now. But initially, there was profit to be made, understanding this pattern. and I took advantage of the volatility. And I mean, I think I sold it too soon because it could have been like 540. So that's about it. I'm not seeing any really easy opportunities today. It's interesting trading this market. This market is very I mean, sometimes it's really hot, and then you have to nail what it's hot. Sometimes it's like ice cold, and then you have to run away. And I'm sure a lot of traders are either, overworked, overtired, exhausted. They're not seeing the A quality type setups every day. I see the A quality type setups every single day, because I've been here for all this time, and I only trade those, and it doesn't really affect my, you know, my overall. I mean, if you just stay disciplined and only trade your A plus setups each day, and you see 7 monitors of 20 stocks every single day, you'll know what stocks to trade. And A lot of people think there's like a cheat sheet, or like a software, or like an AI intelligence email you're gonna get, or an email, or no, it just comes down to work. It comes down to watching tickers and understand functions. Like, like a doctor doing surgery, you have to understand how the body functions in order to perform surgery. Like a lawyer, you have to understand the laws, all the laws, the in and out of the laws, so you can get your client out, or Andrew Tate out of jail for sitting there for 5 months of being honestly or non-honestly accused. I don't know what the deal is, but so you have to understand. So what I do is I watch a lot of tickers and trade the best ones, and I see a potential there. And the market is a very vast, complex thing. And if you believe that you just can turn on the computer and make money, you got another thing coming. Other than that, it was a great fun trading this NBTX. I really didn't see anything else that was just, it didn't really give me the edge. So if it doesn't give you like an edge, like, don't trade it. If you don't have like, actually, if I were gonna look at Carvana here, Carvana is actually not that bad. Now that I see this daily, this is Carvana is not that bad. I don't really trade Carvana, but this comes into my pattern of short the daily resistance of like 1080, because I see it flushing right now at like $1. Carvana is not really, Carvana was gapping up and it was hitting some lines there, and you can see that clearly that 1080 didn't pass. So, each and every day you have to, manage your trading account as you would manage, your, battery account, as what's it called? As athlete manages his battery life. As an athlete manages his battery life, like, you know, an athlete like Stephen Gawkins manages his, battery level, his, I mean, when he goes running, he manages his, I don't know, electrolytes intake. When I started working out, I worked out like twice a day all the freaking time, and then suddenly my electrolyte balance, which I never heard of it, was out of whack. And I never really knew that I'm supposed to have this calcium, magnesium, zinc mixture or whatever to keep my body going. So that is what the pro level to do. And they eat right and they sleep right and they count calories and whatever. So same thing when it comes to the market. You have to have in the seed time in order to not overtrade and only trade the, your optimal setups. And this to me seemed pretty easy, I would have to say, if I were going to say from a 0 to a 10. Difficulty level was about a 7 or a 6.5. Was not that hard. It was just buy the dip, sell the rip. And it was just very basic. I mean, you have a trend, you buy the support trend, and you sell the rip. It was very, I mean, I don't know if you believe this is hard. It's not really that hard. It's hard when you complicate your life. If you if don't trade what you see, you trade what happened yesterday, or you're trading based on your wins or your losses that happened the day before. Market doesn't care. Market is random. Market is a bag of skittles. You just wake up, you plug in the data, and you decide whether to buy or to short based on the data. There's no knowing what kind of skittles is going to come tomorrow. And just because for the past week we have gaps and craps, that doesn't mean that this ticker cannot go to 10. It can on a 30 million float. I mean, I know it's on the high side. It can go from 4 to 10 or 20. Who the hell knows? And that's what you got to see, and not short clean charts like this. Because I mean, even though right now it's pretty much choppy and it's dead, but you just never know how many buyers you're just going to get. Actually, this is pretty much dead. So I'll leave you with that. It was great fun trading with you guys. Yeah, it's like getting like a little bit choppy on the high side, so I just don't want to be around this price action here. Other than that, you guys have a good one. We have a couple questions in my email. Do I offer? So I'm gonna go through my another email in my inbox. Carlos asks, I saw your first Green Day bounce pattern. Do you have a DVD on that strategy? So, yes, as you sign up to my website and you go look at my strategy review videos, which are over here. If you go look at my strategy review videos, if you go look at my section of courses, let me see. So if you go look in my strategy of courses over here. This is strategy review. As you log into the main website, you can study each pattern. Over here, these are my favorite setups in the strategy review. 50-week breakout, ABCD pattern. Let me move that head over here. You can see gap and go, gap up short, first red day short, first green day bounce. So he asked about first green day bounce, if I have that in my setups. And I have a lot of setups, first green day bounce. And you can go through all these setups as I'm daily adding to that list, and you can go review each and every setup. I mean, you should have your arsenal should be full of examples. I have lots of examples. My top, I have like five pretty much. Pretty much my favorite ones are first green day bounce, buy the pre-market high, gap and go, gap up short, pre-market new high buy, short uptrend resistance, short the daily resistance. Those are kind of like my favorite ones to name. Other than that, that's about it. You don't need to be here for 32 hours. You just gotta nail and to bail. That's exactly what I did. Until next time, see you later. I will be watching my sleep intake, my electrolyte intake, my I don't know what kind of intake I have to watch to consistently look like a, model as well. The day trading model.